Hello and welcome to the Japan Lyric Room.
It's great to be here.
In the show, we really like to savor the lyrics of Japanese songs. We explore the meanings behind the phrases and, the unique cultural backgrounds, all in a way that's easy to understand.
And today we have an absolute classic.
We do. We're setting our sights on a very specific year and very specific vibe. We're going back to 1986.
The song is Kimi wa 1000%.
Which translates to You Are 1000% by the group 1986 Omega Tribe. If you follow the city pop revival at all, or if you've spent any time exploring, the sounds of the Japanese bubble era, you have almost certainly heard this one.
Oh, absolutely. Those shimmering synths, that high, clear voice. It's just pivotal, an iconic song.
It really is. But to understand why it hits so hard, you have to look at the context. Right?
You do. This wasn't just another single. This was a shocking debut. It came out right after the original band, Sugiyama Kiyotaka and Omega Tribe, had just disbanded.
Right, and that's a huge deal. Yeah. The original Omega Tribe was massive. They basically owned the summer song market.
They defined what summer sounded like for a whole generation. So the pressure on this new version must have been immense.
Immense is probably an understatement.
For sure. So for this new version, 1986 Omega Tribe, they brought in a new frontman, Carlos Toshiki.
And he was a Brazilian vocalist.
A Brazilian vocalist, yeah. And that just brought a completely unique flavor to the Japanese music scene at the time.
A Brazilian frontman in a Japanese city pop band in the mid-'80s, that's a really interesting mix. How did that change the sound?
It shifted everything. Carlos has this incredibly distinctive vocal style. It's so refreshing and clear, but there's also this subtle melancholic quality to it.
He's not just happy summer.
Exactly. There's a longing in there.
Yeah.
And when you pair that voice with the digital synthesizers they were using, it just perfectly painted this picture of the urban resort atmosphere.
Urban resort. That phrase alone just sounds like the ultimate 80s aesthetic.
It is.
It feels like a brochure for a lifestyle that maybe didn't even really exist, but everyone wanted it.
That's exactly what it was. It was what Japanese people in the 80s aspired to. You have to remember, this is right before the peak of the economic bubble.
Money was flowing, optimism was high.
And people wanted their music to reflect this high-class, leisurely life. This song was a massive hit. It was the theme song for a drama, Shin Nechu Jidai Sengen.
And it's still huge today. With the global city pop revival, this track is always rated as like the pinnacle of that whole 80s resort root sound.
It really is.
I love that description. It's like a sonic vacation. So we've got the Brazilian vocalist, the glittering synths, a vibe that screams high-class summer.
Whoa.
But as we know here in the Japan Lyric Room, the real magic is so often hidden in the words. It's easy to get lost in the melody, but the story here is really specific.
Exactly. The lyrics are packed with these cultural markers of that specific era. It's not just I love you, it's more like I love you in a very expensive 1986 kind of way.
Okay, so let's not waste another second. We're going to walk through 6 specific expressions from the lyrics to really understand the cultural and linguistic nuances woven into this song.
Let's do it.
We're going to start with the phrase that sets the scene perfectly. We're calling this one the power of a smile.
Right. This is right at the opening of the song. So here's the cultural nuance of the line. Just by smiling, you transform the entire seaside villa into the brilliant colors of summer.
That is a powerful smile, but I want to stop on one word there.
Villa.
Villa, exactly. The lyrics specifically use villa, not just house or beach house. That feels really intentional.
It is a crucial distinction. In the context of 80s city pop, the word villa is just loaded with meaning.
So it's a status symbol.
A huge one. It represents this longing for high-class resorts. It's not just a place to sleep by the water, it's a stage. It's a set for a very special kind of vacation.
It almost sounds like a movie set. Like we're not in reality, we're in this heightened, perfect version of it.
In a way, we are. The song is building a world. And the metaphor here is just its romantic exaggeration at its finest. The you character is so attractive that their existence completely dominates the atmosphere.
So summer doesn't start because it's a calendar.
It starts because she smiled. Her presence literally changes the season.
That's a great line. You don't need the sun to make it summer. You just need this person to smile in a villa.
It really establishes the power dynamic here. The singer is just completely captivated.
Utterly. She transforms the world. And that establishes the whole urban resort fantasy right from the very first verse.
Okay, so the scene is set. We're at the villa. Summer colors are popping. But it's not all smooth sailing, is it?
No, not at all.
Let's move to the second phrase. This one gets a bit more complicated emotionally. We're calling this the shoreline of the heart.
And this is where the tension comes in. Here's the nuance. With burning feelings, I step toward the shoreline of your heart, but you gracefully dodge my invitation.
Ouch. Gracefully dodge. That stings a little more than just a flat rejection. It does. The Japanese word used here is nomiichigiwa. It refers to the shoreline, specifically that boundary where the sea and the land clash, the wash zone.
So it's a physical place, but he's also using it as a metaphor for where they stand with each other.
Precisely. The lyrics overlap the bargaining of love with the scenery of the beach. Think about the action of waves. The protagonist's passion is this oncoming wave just rushing toward the shore.
He's coming in hot with burning feelings.
She's standing right there on the shore and just deftly steps aside so the wave doesn't touch her. The lyrics say she dodges or parries it.
It highlights the frustration, but in a very sophisticated adult kind of way.
Exactly. It's framed as an adult romance. It's not some clumsy teenage drama. It's a dodge. It's a dance. It implies this level of cool detachment on her part.
He's all emotion, and she's just gracefully sidestepping. It creates this chase dynamic.
Which brings us perfectly to the title phrase. Because he's been dodged, but he's not giving up.
No, he's doubling down. He has to express just how serious he is.
And he does it with a number.
Yes, the number that makes zero mathematical sense, but all the emotional sense in the world. 1,000%.
Here's the nuance for that famous line. 1,000% isn't enough. I want all of you, exactly as you are, with those honest, straightforward eyes.
Okay, let's unpack this. Normally, 100% is perfection. That's a whole thing. Why go all the way to 1,000%?
Because in this world, logical calculation just doesn't apply. This number goes beyond perfection because it represents an overflowing certainty of love. It's hyperbole, but it feels completely real to the singer.
100% is just full, but 1,000% is.
It's an explosion.
And it really matches the energy of the time, doesn't it? I mean, the mid-'80s was all about excess.
Completely. Bigger, brighter, faster. Yeah. And you have to connect this to Carlos Toshiki's voice. He has this sweet, high-toned delivery. So when he sings this line, it fuses that straight desire with the pop sound. It doesn't sound aggressive at all.
It sounds pure.
It does. It's the hook that gets stuck in your head. I want you. It just rings out with this refreshing clarity. It cuts right through the complexity of the dodging metaphor.
It's a declaration that he's not playing the game anymore. He's all in.
But the game does continue.
It does. Our protagonist isn't just shouting numbers. He's also taking some, let's call them dedicated actions. This next phrase is the Twilight ambush. And honestly, this one surprised me a bit.
This is a really fascinating cultural gap. Here's the cultural nuance. I waited for you in hiding. Now the beach is wrapped in the faint light of dusk.
Okay, waited for you in hiding. That sounds a little intense, maybe even a little creepy by today's standards.
It definitely walks a fine line. The Japanese word is makabas, and it usually implies an ambush. Hiding to surprise or even attack someone.
That sounds really aggressive for a breezy city pop song.
It is, and that's the fascinating part. The protagonist is so obsessed, so deeply in love, that he resorts to this slightly forceful, desperate behavior. He's hiding because he just has to see her.
But the setting softens it. If this were a dark alley, it's a horror movie. But it's a beach at dusk.
Context is everything. It's a sophisticated Twilight beach setting. So you have this amazing contrast. The muddy, raw desperation of his passion.
Versus the stylish, cool resort atmosphere. It's like he's trying to keep his cool on the outside, but underneath, he's frantic.
And that gap just accelerates the dramatic feeling of the romance. It adds real stakes to the song. If you were just casually waiting, it wouldn't be 1,000%.
That makes perfect sense. The desperation proves the intensity.
It does.
Speaking of pretty pictures, though, the next phrase takes us from the beach right up to the stars. This might be my favorite image in the whole song because it's so specific to the year.
This one's beautiful. We're calling it the comet in her hair.
I love that.
It's a beautiful line, and it's a historical timestamp. Here's the nuance. Adorning your hair with sparkling droplets like a comet, Halley's Comet, you radiate a cosmic beauty.
Wait. Specifically Halley's Comet? The lyrics mention that by name.
Specifically, you have to remember, the song came out in 1986. That was the year Halley's Comet made its closest approach to Earth.
Oh, of course. The whole world was watching the sky for that.
The whole world was excited about it. It is a global phenomenon. And Omega Tribe, they were known for being trendy and cutting edge, so they wrote it right into the lyrics as Halley's Droplets.
That is so clever. It just anchors the song in time, so he's looking at her and maybe she's just come out of the water.
That's the image, yeah. It depicts her as this mysterious, almost otherworldly being. The light reflecting off the water droplets in her hair looks like fragments of a comet.
It connects the night sea to the cosmos.
Exactly. It's incredibly romantic. You're not just beautiful, you have a comet in your hair.
It elevates her to this celestial level. She's not just a girl at a beach anymore. She's a cosmic event.
Which again ties back to that 1986 optimism and focus on the future.
Okay, let's come back down to earth for our final phrase. We've had the villa, the beach, the comet. Now we have an item that feels almost mandatory for this genre.
The cocktail and dizziness.
Of course. You can't have an 80s resort song without a cocktail. It's like a law.
It really was an essential element of that urban lifestyle. So here's a nuance. You handed me a cocktail with such graceful movements, I drink down both the cold liquid and the hot dizziness of love.
It signifies maturity, leisure, nighttime glamour. But it's the action here that's key. He's captivated by her graceful gestures.
Yes. Even the way she hands him a glass is mesmerizing to him.
And then he drinks it down.
He drinks down or drains the glass.
Yeah.
There's a resolve in that phrasing. It implies he is not running away from his feelings anymore. He's resolving to accept everything about this love.
Including the dizziness.
Including the dizziness.
Yeah.
Which is both the alcohol and, the love itself.
The increased heart rate, the flushed feeling, losing your balance.
He's swallowing the cold liquid and the hot emotion all at once.
Wow. When you break it down like that, you realize this isn't just a catchy pop song, it's a whole story. It starts with a smile, goes through rejection, desperate waiting, cosmic beauty, and ends with this acceptance of the intoxication of it all.
It really is. And if you try to summarize the whole emotional theme, I'd say Kimi wa 1000% is like a time capsule.
A time capsule. How so?
It contains the memories of a dazzling summer from a very specific moment, right before the Japanese economic bubble fully burst. It's when Japan was shining its brightest. It captures a moment of pure, unbridled potential.
We saw all those symbols, the villa, the Twilight, the cocktail. They paint this very specific picture.
Those are the urban symbols. But despite all that, despite the expensive resort setting, the core of the song is just this single-minded love. A love so big it can only be expressed by the number 1000%.
And it's Carlos Toshiki's voice that really ties it all together.
That clear, slightly sad vocal just lets the listener return to the protagonist's viewpoint and that blue inlet anytime they listen. It's a permanent vacation in a song.
A permanent vacation in a song. I love that. It really does feel like that. It's amazing how a song from 1986 can still transport you to that specific resort feeling today.
It makes you nostalgic for a time you might not have even lived through.
It does. It just shows the power of well-crafted lyrics and melody. The fashion changes, the tech changes.
But that feeling of a summer romance at a seaside villa, that's timeless.
Well, I think I'm going to be humming. You're 1000% for the rest of the day now.
It's very hard to get out of your head once it's in there.
Thank you so much for listening today. We really appreciate you spending this time with us.
It was a pleasure to explore this track with you all.
We pick up various Japanese songs and update detailed explanations on our website. So for those of you who want to taste the lyrics more deeply, please check the link in the description.
Yeah, there's a lot more to discover there.
If you liked this program, please subscribe to or follow the channel. It really helps us out a lot.
And we would love to hear from you.
Yes, please leave us a comment with your impressions or any requests for songs you want us to cover next. We read all of them.
We're really looking forward to seeing what you suggest.
See you next time. This was Japan Lyric Room.